Sorry. I'd like to call to order the Committee of the Whole of the Board of Education School District Number 40 at 6 p.m. on February 12, 2024 at Jane Adams Elementary. Could I have a roll call, please?
Audrey Adamson. Chet Smith.
Here.
Mona Dixon. Jason Farrell.
Here.
Lindsay Hines.
Here.
Andrew Lear. Here. Aaron Morgan Smith.
Here.
Abigail Greenlee. Justin Colorado. Here.
All right, number 2 is the approval of the minutes. A is minutes of the Committee of the Whole of January 8, 2024. Please have a motion.
So moved.
All in favor? All right, student spotlight. I'm assuming there's no comment or presentation. We're moving. Moving on. Student spotlight. Jane.
Hi, my name is Teresa Landon. It is my honor to serve here as a principal at Jane Adams Elementary. We welcome you all and are glad you're here. Our PTA has provided some refreshments, so help yourself. And if you need the restrooms, they're just down the hall and immediately to your left. So I've got them marked for you. But we're glad to have you here. Jane Adams is a really diverse, awesome school, about 300 students. And we're really proud of our diversity and our family involved. We've got a really great PTA, a long-standing tradition of that, and we're really proud of our kids. So thank you for coming tonight. A few kids that we're especially proud of are our alumni. So you have one here on the board, so that's awesome. And we also, I was approached this fall by Andrew and by Akil. Students at Olean High School, and they were interested in starting a tutoring club here at Jane Adams. So I'm going to let them have the spotlight, if that's okay.
How do you do this one?
I think you just click through.
Well, I want to thank all you guys for being here today, and we're very excited to be presenting to you all regarding Young Student, an after-school tutoring program that Andrew and I have started to ensure accessibility for education for all.
So what we're going to touch on throughout this presentation is we're going to start out by showing you our team and everyone that's currently involved in BTS, and we're going to go to our program overview, kind of how the sessions work. Then we're going to go into the program structure, kind of what happens within those meetings. And then we're going to go into testimony. So just a few words that our tutors have noticed, the kids advancing in, and I think there's some words from Ms. Landon in there too. And then next we're going to go to community engagement, so kind of how this ties in with the community outreach and some connections we have with organizations and with people in the district. And finally, we're going to touch on our future plans, so on our future plans with BTS and where we hope to go through in the community.
So how does our team look like here? Well, we have 6 members, and they're all students from MHS. Me and Andrew were the co-founder and co-founder. We have Anjali, who is a freshman at Moline High School and currently serves as a tutor. We have Chinmay, who is also another freshman at Moline High School, and he's kind of helping us with the outreach, and he serves as a tutor. We have Lucky Devade. He is a junior, and he has recently joined our team. Along with, in the future, we have Anika, who will be coming to the tutoring sessions and has been working behind the scenes on this program.
All right, so the program overview. So our mission statement is our organization's mission is to provide high-quality after-school assistance for elementary students, enabling them to thrive both inside and outside the classroom. So that's what this entire program is meant to do. That's our goal, and that's what we aim to do with every session and every week that we meet these kids. And touching on every week, every session, it's grades 2 through 5. So we don't want to go too young for some obvious reasons. We're just not quite there yet. Maybe someday, but right now we're focusing on more the older, if you want to say that. You know, it's still pretty young, but just more kids that high school kids of the middle age and a little younger could handle. And we are mostly focusing on math and English as our main subjects. That's what we will primarily excel in, and so that's what we thought we would best do to help the students with. And then that's a picture that we actually took in our last session with everyone there, and we had one of our tutors had to have an appointment, like that was at the end of one of our sessions.
So how's our program structured? So each Thursday we meet from about 3:15 to 4 p.m. And we have our students kind of race out of the NHS classrooms and come to Jane Addams and sit with the kids for about 45 minutes and help them with anything they need. So we start off by asking them if they have any questions on their homework, and we guide them through any homework they may have any questions about. And then we'll move on to using a folder, which I'll mention shortly. How do we select our tutors? So our tutors are selected off basic questionnaire topics such as GPA, extracurriculars, and the why for wanting to be a tutor. I think that's a really big part of the young student is why we want to tutor, because we're ultimately looking for highly motivated individuals that want to make an impact on our youth. Our tutoring materials, so we are provided with a folder that is tailored specifically for each student to create that personalized approach. And the teachers of each student who is being tutored creates this folder when they start this program, and it has various worksheets, assignments, and curriculum that we can use to help teach our students.
So these are some of the testimonies that we gathered from our tutors and from Ms. Landon. So Ms. Landon said that it had a really personal connection, and that's what we really strive to have. We really want to be really close with the kids. We want to make them feel that this isn't just a classroom where you have a teacher trying to teach, handle a bunch of kids. We're trying to really have a personal connection with them and role model. I know I've heard Ms. Landon tell us before, it's awesome for elementary schoolers to see those high schoolers. I remember when I was in elementary school, just looking at the 5th graders, still in elementary school, I'm like, whoa, it's so cool. So just provide that role model too. And then if you want to read through, these are just some of what our tutors said that their students individually have been improving in. A lot of math, proficiency, and increasing speed. And I know for Messiah, that's my kid personally, he's increased a lot with his flashcards. So we started out using the flashcards that his teacher provided. It was a little slow at first, but throughout the weeks, we've really seen that growth and really seen that speed and accuracy improve.
So what are we planning on doing to engage with our community? Well, first of all, we want to get more volunteers, more tutors involved in this program. And we are starting off by doing that by reaching out to students at MHS who are interested in making an impact with us. We want to empower today's youth just through various workshops, which I'll shortly talk about, partnerships with people just like you and other alumni from elementary schools or high schools that can give us input on how we can be better mentors for the youth in our community. So partnerships, so we're partnered with Jane Addams, where we currently tutor, and we have about 5 students that we tutor weekly. We talked to Dr. Savage and Candace last week regarding this program, and we had great insight from them on how to expand and how to really diversify our influence. And then we're going to be meeting with other people, such as the Moline Public Library Director, to hopefully set up something with them and possibly host a workshop for multiple elementary kids to come by.
So what do we have planned for in the future? So for expansion, we really want to maintain that really close ratio from tutor to student, but it's kind of hard to expand when you're on a one-to-one. And we talked to Dr. Savage about this, and she thinks, and me and Akil think, that moving to a 1-to-2 tutor to student ratio would still be just fine, and it would still provide the same personal experience, and that would enable us to expand a lot faster and a lot more efficiently. So we're going to maximize each individual school to around 20 students or 10 tutors. That way, we're not trying to handle too much at one school, especially when we start to expand to multiple locations. And on that multiple location track, we're looking at Roosevelt Elementary School. I've heard some teachers talk about how that school might really need assistance in with a program like this. And also its proximity. I mean, we could probably walk to Roosevelt and get there faster than we get here. So we're trying to move there, and I think that'd be really great. And touching off of what Akil said, that public workshop, we're looking at the Moline Public Library primarily right now, and that main goal is increase community involvement and really spread the word and try to get more kids able to go from maybe elementary schools that we haven't yet started tutoring at yet, or just anyone who's interested. And increasing impact, we are in the process of expanding to schools and finding other ways to engage with elementary students, so just touching on what I said earlier. And we've talked about maybe having an assembly at the school so we can reach the entire audience. There's other things like that where we can reach as many students as possible.
Thank you all for listening. We hope to work with all of you in the future. You can visit our website by typing beyondstudent.com. Yeah, cool.
Sorry.
Yeah, we'll take any questions.
Questions for them?
Oh, I have a question. I thought you were gonna ask.
No, I was just
Okay. How are the students chosen? They sign up or are they nominated by their teacher?
So yeah, it's a little bit more of a nomination thing. So Ms. Landon and the teachers select those students who, obviously the teachers have the most time with the students and they're able to tell us, hey, this person really needs help. And then every once in a while, the teachers, in addition to Ms. Landon is always in the room whenever we're having a session. The teachers can be there and they can be like, hey, this kid might need a little bit more help with math or a little bit more help with English and so forth. So yeah, it's teacher selected and then that gives us access to the kids who need the most help.
I was curious how, you talked about expansion, have you had reaction from other high school students that are interested? I know you've got a pretty good group right now for what you need, but you have more people that are looking to join, or?
Yeah, so we actually have a lot of support. I mean, just within our friend group alone, we have like probably around 10, 15 people we've asked them if they'd be interested in tutoring and they would. The only thing is we are currently in the process of expanding. So finding the tutors, we have most of them, and I feel like we could really get our word out there within the community. There'll definitely be more high schools that are interested.
Do you have anyone, I'm sorry. Do you have anyone that is bilingual that can help currently?
We do not have any, or actually, I don't think we've looked at that specifically, but that's a great suggestion, and that's what we want to get from this meeting, is suggestions, comments, anything that would be able to help us with that, and that's 100% great. We'll definitely look into that. I think we have a lot of friends that could definitely fill that role, and that's definitely something we're going to do.
No, I was saying.
First of all, I know both of you are incredibly busy young men and growing moms.
Yeah.
And I know you're also both very engineer oriented. Have you thought about adding a STEM component to this?
So actually, when we first, so we're both in the leadership, right? And so we were at a work night, and we both were kind of like finished our page and just talking about, you know, starting this program, which we thought was crazy at the time, but I guess we're here now presenting. It was actually, we're planning on doing something with STEM, but the only reason we didn't pursue it is because we didn't feel that our expertise necessarily lied heavily in teaching STEM, and we wanted to start off by providing like a tutoring service. But what we want to do with the workshops is expand, because ultimately providing an after-school tutoring program, there's only so much we can do. And so by hosting a workshop, we can introduce them to the youth, and through our involvement in various activities such as robotics and things such as that, I think we can definitely implement that in the future.
Adding on to that, a reason that we didn't kick off with the STEM is just because of resources. We kind of want, you know, it's really simple, we get a folder, then we help the kids. So getting those STEM resources we thought might be a little bit more complicated than we would like first started. But just as Keel said, yeah, those public workshops would be great to expand into STEM.
I'm a teacher over in Iowa, and I work with an hour who is incredible STEM, who likes to work in the STEM, and he would like his many resources for STEM and community outreach, and he would probably love to work with us.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I applaud you guys for doing this. Not a lot of high school kids want to come down to elementary and tutor. This is phenomenal. And please let the board know how we can help you. I'm pretty sure we would all be pretty supportive.
I don't have any questions, but I am blown away. Listen, you guys are very impressive.
Thank you.
Are we, I mean, the students that are involved in the program, are we tracking like standardized testing, maps, to be able to look at
Right.
before.
We just finished the mid-year round of map testing, and we're gonna take a look at the students that have been getting these services and seeing how much they've grown. So that data, we'll share that out, in a generalized way. But yes,
I think those numbers will help you. because
To have the
the
numbers,
schools that-
that's great insight
the
to
average
really think
kid,
about using it that
10% or whatever it might be, that'll probably help state your case for you in some of those schools too.
That's not how we can help.
Yes, please feel free to reach out.
Yes.
Thank you guys.
Great, thank you.
I did not want to follow up. I know. Thanks a lot, guys.
Dr. Kevin and the follow please.
All right, yes, Mr. Gallo and I have to follow you, so thank you very much for that. We are here tonight to kind of have that next step in our facilities conversation. We know that this Board of Education has been very active in its implementation of our long-range plans, and we're ready to keep checking items on that box while we continue to work on our other projects. So our presentation tonight is just to share a proposal for next steps in that process. So our purpose tonight is to review the district's current and former 10-year strategic facilities plan and those committee recommendations, to review the age of our buildings and most recent facility improvement projects, to make a proposal tonight to the Board of Education to address the next recommendation on our current strategic facilities improvement plan. Just as a review, these are our buildings, indicating which of our buildings have received remodeling. And we currently have 3 facilities that are over 100 years old: Logan, Willard, and Allendale. And of course, we see Wharton is not too far behind. So that is just a reminder of our facilities and the ages of those buildings. As a reminder, the current strategic facilities plan that we have in place was completed in 2021. It was a strategic PACE goal, if you recall, where we convened a 17-person committee that was based, or that included internal stakeholders, external stakeholders, parents, community members, staff, a variety of different personnel across our community. And they were charged with the following: to evaluate our facilities, to consider future needs and to be visionary in that regard, to receive input from stakeholders, and to create a revised executive summary. Currently in place, we have an executive summary from 2008, a summary from 2010, and a summary from 2021. That most recent summary was presented to the board on May 24th of 2021. And I just added this additional little piece here because we are being aggressive with our facility plans and accomplishing so much. We've historically called this a 10-year plan, even though the intent is not to complete all the projects in 10 years. That's just about as far out as we want to go in terms of decision-making. My recommendation is that document be reviewed every 5 years and just be updated to the things that we're currently working on. So just a suggestion so that we can be putting forth to the community our most current lens when it comes to addressing our facilities. So just a reminder of our most recent committee recommendations. These are the recommendations that 17-person team presented to the board in 2021. Continue current school operations at Bicentennial, Hamilton, John Deere, Wilson, and the high school. Consider future schools at Jefferson, Butterworth, Coolidge, Washington, and Lincoln Irving. A lot of those buildings are related to the land available around those schools. Consider providing busing for all students living a set distance from the school according to what code allows. Consider future use of Jane Addams and Franklin for preschool or other district uses at the time, and still we are holding out that the feds will push out preschool for all, And with that notion, we wanted to be prepared in advance to increase our pre-K space. Allendale, Logan, and Willard should be retired, sold when vacated, and again, those are the 3 buildings that I identified as being over 100 years old. And consider future plans for Coolidge once the current staff have relocated. So those were the recommendations, the 6 points from 21. Back further than that, these are the recommendations from 2010, and it wasn't, some of the committee members were the same, but most of them were different. There were 7 recommendations, and interestingly enough, there are a lot of similarities. So our community continues to speak on these things. Continue operations at existing high school and middle schools. Make strategic decisions for future elementary schools at the following sites. And these were basically the schools that were identified in the previous, or in the 2021. Continue use of Coolidge for alternative program, district admin support, or potential busing when and if the district is able to implement that. Consider future use of Adams and Franklin for preschool or other district support. Offer Blackhawk Elementary and Horace Mann sites for sale at this time. And if you recall, Horace Mann is the site that we are currently leasing to High Road. Allendale, Erickson, Garfield, Logan, and Willard should not be programmed for future use and sold when vacated from current use. So again, these are the recommendations from 2010, and some of those pieces have already occurred. So just a reminder of some of our recent projects. Again, this Board of Education has been aggressive. This Board of Education has been very timely and good stewards of those taxpayer dollars and our injection of federal emergency funds that we receive to make sure that those dollars are going towards improving our learning environments. So for all kids, regardless of which school that you attend, those environments are receiving the attention that they deserve. So just a reminder, our HVAC installation, Washington, Logan, Lincoln Urban, Adams, and Butterworth, 5 schools we were able to do with that one-time allocation of emergency federal funds. Fantastic, took the burden off of our taxpayers. As you recall, we had initially hoped to be able to include Jefferson Preschool in that, but due to the cost and the increase of those projects, we were not able to air condition Jefferson with that particular allocation of dollars. Moline High School HVAC project has been complete with the 1% sales tax. LED lighting across our schools also funded by the 1%. Parking lots at Butterworth and Horace Mann with 1%. Bartlett Performing Arts Center, 1%. PE Center alternative revenue bonds. Franklin Elementary renovation post-fire, 1%. And then these other additional projects that the Board of Education has also been approving as well. A number of roofing projects, Wilson and Moline High School, tuck pointing across the district, as well as painting. So just a reminder of how busy and active this Board of Education has been in terms of facility projects. What are we focusing on right now? We're sort of in between projects, if you will. So we are in the planning stages for the Lincoln Urban expansion project. That's number 1. When I say in between projects, our HVAC projects are essentially complete, along with just kind of some minor closing out of those projects. And we're in the planning stages for the Lincoln Urban expansion. So we're sort of in between projects. Right now, we have a number of things currently in motion. Again, planning and prep for that expansion. Planning and prep for the retirement of Willard. We love Willard. It has served its mission for our community. Over 100 years old. You recall, again, Willard, we were not able to air condition, also ADA accessibility, big concern at Willard as well. And lastly, and importantly, that the board has been talking about this a lot, a full-scale athletic study in this board's efforts to take aggressive action in improving our athletic facilities, fields, concessions, restrooms. All of our outdoor athletic facilities are currently in the middle of an aggressive study, and those numbers and collaborative input are currently taking place. Please, anyone have on that?
No, all those studies are going very well currently, and we hope to have, those projects lined out by the May 14th.
Very good. So while completing the district athletic study, as well as planning for the Lincoln Irving expansion, we have an opportunity to achieve another of our recommendations from 2010 and 2021. As I mentioned previously, our 3 buildings over 100 years old, Logan, Willard, and Allendale. We currently have a plan in place to retire and vacate Willard, and we have an opportunity now to vacate and retire or sell Allendale. And that's the proposal that we want to share with the board tonight in this public presentation. So after years of searching, the district has finally found a viable option regarding the district office, and shout out to Keith, I has been working on this for a number of years, and Vince certainly since he has been on board. Why? What's the rationale? Well, it's 100 years old, but secondly, this has been identified in both the 2010 and the 21 long-range strategic facility plan by our group of internal and external stakeholders. So we are just moving on down that list and taking as many of those projects as possible. Moving forward, our rationale to proceed with vacating Allendale. It was built in 1906, donated to the district in the 1920s. The district office, we have been housed there for nearly 100 years. And I believe the district has been very good stewards of that gift from the Allen family in keeping its district office operations in that building for nearly 100 years. Of course, we know the ADA accessibility issues in that building. We have had employees fall down those stairs and a number of different things associated with the lack of accessibility. Maintenance is incredibly costly. The original wiring and windows still exist. Need significant dollars in tuck pointing. All the windows need to be replaced. Extensive exterior painting and repairs are also in order. Furthermore, the current layout of that facility, which is essentially an old home, is not conducive to expectations and culture of a high-functioning, collaborative, modern office. We've made it work for 100 years. And I think the last point here on this slide is we've adapted it about as far as we can go. We have a district admin in the server room as well. So we've kind of adapted that as far as we can go. So in a second, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Gallo, but this is the proposed property. So the proposed property is an existing building. It's at 2121 47th Street. It is the former IH Credit Union building right on the avenue of the cities by Arby's, across from Take 5 Oil Change. It's a professional building, over 30,000 square feet on 2.5 acres. All the furniture and furnishings are included, and we've had a couple of external assessments, and they are valued at approximately, if we were to go and buy it, it would be close to that 1 million mark just in the furniture and furnishings. It's all very high quality. Every single space is furnished. The property has been on the market for 2 years and is essentially move-in ready. Mr. Gallo is kind of going to go through the numbers of this project and the minimal tweaks that we would want to make, but those tweaks are low in cost compared to what it would take for the district to adapt in another building or perhaps even new construction. It provides much needed functional teamwork and collaboration space. The space is available to address PD needs across the district, big and small, and also space for our Board of Education. So we would not, or I should say maintenance, would not have to tear up, set down, tear up, set down, tear up, set down, because that Coolidge room is currently used often for other needs. We've determined through sort of an extensive analysis that approximately 85 staff could be housed in this facility. All approximate 30 of the staff that's currently housed at Allendale. Our ed tech department could also be housed there. The school psychologists, social workers, and other staff that currently have offices in the old Coolidge facility because there is not one other place for them anywhere in the district. They have no home, so they have set up shop there, and we have been seeking a place for them to have a functional workspace as well. And we also will be able to continue to maintain our lease with the Regional Office of Education, and there is space for the ROE to be under that same roof as well, in a portioned off section of that building where they would have their own entrance. So the district would continue to benefit from the resources that the ROE brings right under our same roof. So it really would be a one-stop shop and services center for staff, employees, prospective employees, families, etc. Last slide, I'm gonna turn it over to Vince. We have spent a lot of time researching this to determine, is it even viable? Is it even worth bringing forth? Is this the right project? Is this the right property? Is this the right time? It is big enough for all of the staff. It's fiscally responsible in the regard that it would be benefiting an existing building that's sitting vacant on the avenue and provide that economic viability for that space in lieu of new construction, which we know is incredibly costly, and there are a few spaces available for build anyway. We would be able to purchase with existing funds to preserve our bond capacity for these two important projects that the board is working on right now, our comprehensive athletic study and our Lincoln Urban expansion. So this purchase would be completely separate, allowing us to focus all of our bond capacity on those two current planning projects that we're working on right now. How does this impact student achievement? Everything we do should be through the lens of student achievement. And we've got three here. Number one, by moving EdTech out of Moline High School, currently they occupy several classrooms in D Wing of Moline High School. By getting them out of there and located at this Ed Service Center that we would be creating, this now gives those classrooms back to Moline High School, which is at capacity. There are no empty classrooms there. And in particular, because they are in D Wing, this allows for expansion of CTE programs that the secondary team has been working on, such as CNA, our trades, our skilled labor. All of those are our district strategic goals. And so that space can be given back for instructional student programs. Next, the district office in the 21 recommendation, the district office in sort of the explanation behind those recommendations, it was once determined that the district office could eventually move to Roosevelt. At one point, that committee had talked about Coolidge could be used to combine Roosevelt and Logan and be the next flagship multi-4-section elementary school, and that leaves Roosevelt open. And so at the time, in 21, it was suggested that that could be a place that the district office could utilize. That is a good idea, that could have certainly worked, but it would have cost millions to adapt, again, as we try to adapt a classroom to a functional office space for nearly 100 employees. And we still wouldn't get that collaboration and that modern workspace that we are seeking. Lastly, if the district office moves to this proposed location, that reserves Roosevelt to eventually become our one-stop shop early childhood center. As of last week, we had 155 littles on a waiting list and have nowhere to go for preschool. We have Jefferson full, God bless them at Jefferson, and Principal Fowler does a fantastic job. We've got preschool expansion now and an entire wing of Butterworth Elementary. Principal Pog has done a fantastic job onboarding preschool, but still 155 kids are not being served. So by getting Allendale sort of out of the way and off the table, that frees up Roosevelt at the time when we are able to bond again after the Lincoln Urban expansion to eventually become the district early childhood center. And ideally, I think there's about 450 kids in Roosevelt right now. And so if you think about how do we know if we're serving the right amount of students for preschool? ideally, we should be serving the same amount of kids in preschool as one of our high school grades or classes, which is about 500 kids. So that's when we know that we're serving the right amount of kids. So 500 preschools should equal 500 sophomores, or 500 freshmen, or 500 juniors. And we're not even at half of that right now. And so that has long-lasting opportunity and achievement benefits for those students to be able to acquire a quality preschool program. So there are a number of ways that getting the district office done out of the way and out of this timeline that impacts student achievement. And then lastly, there aren't very many spaces left in Moline proper for residential homes and future development. There is a lot of space back there behind Jefferson that the city owns that could be freed up for additional residential expansion.
Thank you, Dr. Savage. So the proposed district office by the numbers, so the current listing price is $2.45 million, with the most recent appraised value at $1.89 million. The interior updates, if we were to estimate, would cost roughly about $450,000. And exterior maintenance, this would include parking lot, exterior upgrades with signage, cleaning up that front entrance, cutting in a new front entrance for the ROE. We're estimating that at about $180,000. And then the future warehouse that would be located on the 1 acre vacant lot that comes along with this property is estimated at about $1 million. And then monthly utility costs are right around $4,500 per month. Now I know that these numbers, the $450,000 and the $180,000 seem high, but I put those numbers a little higher than expected, with the expectation to have that all looped in within the purchase price of the property. So moving on to Allendale, what is it going to cost to stay where we are? So tuck pointing at Allendale is estimated around $500,000 to $750,000. Window replacement at about $250,000. Exterior painting between $50,000 and $75,000. And then currently we're spending about $1,200 per month for utilities. All of these things that we want to do at Allendale are necessary for the safety of our staff. These aren't wish list items. These are things that would need to happen in the next 5 to 7 years to continue to make that space viable for us. Coolidge, the current boiler is original at that building. So replacing that is around $300,000 to $350,000. The roof is in dire shape right now. We have been piecing that roof together for years and will continue to do that until we're able to retire it. But if we wanted to make that building viable for the next 20 years, we're looking at $1 million to $1.2 million roof. And then the windows on that building would be about $1 million to replace. And our current utility costs are around $7,400 per month. So as you can see here, you're looking at between $3 to $3.6 million just to maintain the current buildings that we're in, and we're not gaining any new functional value for either of them. So timeline as far as move-in, so the phase 1 would be Allendale staff and school psychologists and social workers this summer. Phase 2 would be ed tech and the ROE staff this spring or summer of 25. And then phase 3, the facility department. So during that Lincoln Irving project, we would also build that warehouse on that 1 acre lot and move them in the summer of 27. So projected timeline for this purchase. So in February, we requested the Board of Education to engage in services with a commercial appraisal firm so we could have another third party appraise that so we can leverage that against the current appraisal. And then represent the district in the purchase of the process and approve the authority of the superintendent and CFO to negotiate those terms. In March, we only had one board meeting on March 11th. So we would request the Board of Education to approve the recommended motion to purchase the property. April and May, we would be starting to prepare for that phase 1 staff. And then summer, relocate the identified staff in phase 1. And fall, we would prepare Allendale for staff.
So just to round out our presentation, again, this is a very action-oriented Board of Education and has been for the last 5 years with all the projects that have been able to be completed that directly affect student learning environments and those environments for staff as well. The timing is right, as I mentioned, being between projects, we could be able to get this done as we are closing out HVAC and still in the planning stages of the Lincoln Irving expansion. This would be a viable time to get this done. Check it off the 2008, 2010, and 2021 recommendation list. And we've been looking for about a decade for a district office that better meets our needs. This is really the first one worth bringing forward that checks all the boxes. It's the correct size to house all the district staff, as well as our onesie and twosie staff that are housed in schools whose offices are in classrooms, that those classrooms can be given back to those principals for instructional space. It gets pre-K kids off the waiting list eventually as we move down that list, but we've got to tee that up so when the time comes, the Board of Education can decide to do that if it wishes. Cost per square foot of this existing property is about $82 a square foot. New construction is anywhere from 200 to 400 square feet cost, and that's probably conservative. You can purchase, as Mr. Gallo said, with existing funds, working cash, and save the bond capacity for our 2 big community projects that we're working on right now, the Lincoln Irving expansion and upgrading all of our external athletic facilities. We want to preserve those as the priority. The property is essentially move-in ready. It is once and for all ADA accessible, and it allows us to maintain our current lease with the ROE, which we benefit from as a district and having them under our same roof. We can eventually house all the maintenance and warehouse departments, as Vince said, so all the staff can be fully vacated from Coolidge within 5 years. It all aligns quite nicely. If we need to utilize the Coolidge building to house students during the construction year at Lincoln Irving, it's about after that, in about a 5-year period when that's done and kids are moving in, then Coolidge would be fully vacant and the Board of Education can determine its wishes at that time for that facility. But these moves happening now allow for that to happen in 5 years. We talked about the cost for Allendale, and lastly, to Mr. Gallo's point, those are really safety needs at Allendale, and we would rather be proactive than reactive. And those are just a couple of projects of some of our recent projects. So that is our presentation. Welcome for questions, comments. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, before
I think Disney plus 5. Your vacation. Actually, I started facility study in 2017. Athletic study.
This doesn't
then I
make
went
sense.
down the tubes after that.
There's an event coming up this week at Augustana College. Learning Great Matters Collective, their entire purpose is ending teen suicide, giving resources to kids so that suicide doesn't happen. And so they have an event coming out in Augustana on Thursday called One More Light. It's a completely free event for the community, completely free for people coming in and visit, but basically it's collaboration for anyone to come and be involved with ending teen suicide, ending kind of the depression and the mental issues that lead to that, and giving resources. And so one of the things that's been really important to me as a school board member, and just part of what I see our goal is more community involvement and more stuff like this. And so I reached out to Haley, and her and I got into a really good conversation, and it kind of led into this idea where I would put together a couple tables at this event, and school board members from each school on the Illinois side and the Iowa side, if they choose to come, would be welcome to join us, to kind of work together and just represent us as parents and people in the community that care about these kids. I'm going to be putting together kind of resources from the schools that I can get them back from. So if a parent comes and they're worried about their kid at, say, UT, there's a resource ready. Now, here's the name you contact, here's who you go to, or for that student, here's who the counselor might be, things like that. So Aaron has agreed to join me at that event. I wanted to invite anybody from the administration or the school board to join us Thursday night, just from 6 to 8. Or even the students, if you guys want to come, we'd love to have you guys there. This kind of springboarded then to East Moline, both of their school board members, separate school districts are going to be represented. I've reached out to Rock Island, haven't gotten a response yet, but I will reach back out to them tomorrow. Iowa has a little bit different of what they can say and what they can't say when it comes to providing resources to Iowa students. It's a little bit different game in Illinois, so I don't know if they're joining us, but I think it's a good chance for us to show you guys front on the Illinois side that we as school board members, even though we're all competitive in our schools, we can put that aside and say this is more important. And then at Springboard, it actually added to that Haley Wink, the director of Great Mountain Collective, went and presented to the parent mentors that reached out to me. So they're also going to join us as well. So once again, we're kind of having a two-pronged attack at this event where these are parents, these are school board members, these are mentors in our schools, so that kind of give the idea that our kids are being looked out for from different areas of people that aren't just the teachers, nothing like that, but they're teaching, right? So we have other people that are involved in the schools that are focused on these warning signs, giving these resources. So if anybody's interested, see me afterwards, I can send this to you and put it up on this plugs in. Admin, we'd love to have you guys there if anybody wants to come to that event as well. Thank you to Rachel. I reached out to her and she gave me a full-scale approval on something like this. So it's exciting. It's a bad reason to be, something that hopefully we shouldn't have an issue with, but I'm excited for us to get involved in this and help be part of the solution. So if you have any questions, please see me.
Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? 5-minute break?
Get some snacks.
All right. We will call regular Board of Education meeting, school district number 40, immediately following the committee of the whole to order at 6:54. Roll call. Audrey Adamson. Chet Smith.
Here.
Ramona Dixon.
Here.
Jason Farrell.
Here.
Lindsay Hines.
Here.
Andrew Ware. Here. Aaron Waldron Smith.
Here.
Abigail Greenlee. Justin Colorado. Here. Right.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the minutes. All right. Approval of the minutes of the regular Board of Education meeting of January 22nd, 2024. And approval of the minutes of the closed session Board of Education meeting January 22nd, 2024. Okay, all right, sorry. All abstained. All right. Can I have a motion for the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of the Board of Education for January 22nd,
So,
2020?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right. Approval of the minutes of the closed session of the Board of Education meeting of January 22nd, 2024. Can I have a motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Now, communications, public comment and participation. All right. Now, consent agenda. I would recommend a motion that the Board of Education approve the actions contained in the consent agenda as presented. All right, roll call.
Ramona Dixon. Jason Farrell. Lindsay Hines.
Aye.
Aaron Walter Smith.
Aye.
Audrey Adamson. Jetta Smith.
Aye.
Andrew Ware.
Aye. All right, reports, requests, and open discussion. Dr. Savage?
All right, I have a couple of items, and then we do have a special recognition tonight. I wanted to give the board an update on our portrait of an educator that we are working on as one of our strategic PACE goals this year to carry our portrait of a graduate work into year 2. I've been meeting with a group of about 70 Moline High School students, freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and seniors. And as our group of adult stakeholders last spring determined the competencies that they felt were most important for our students to have before they graduate, I felt it was appropriate to have our students determine that list of competencies that they feel are most appropriate for our educators. So they are in the process right now. They've identified the first group. It's about 25 different competencies. And they're in the process right now of paring those down. And so at our next meeting, we should have it down to about 8 to 10 core competencies that they feel, as our customers, our students, are the most important for educators. And that's teachers, principals, support staff, administrative assistants, everybody, all of us as educators. So we're looking forward to that process continuing, where they identify the final 8 to 10 competencies. I'm excited to see what they come up with in terms of their visual, and I think it'll be really powerful to be able to say, this is what our students expect of us. If you want to work here in Moline, this is what our students, our kids, our customers think is important. So they've just blown me away, similar to our student representation here tonight. I know a number of you are involved in that process, so just wanted to give that update. It's moving right along, and the kids are just incredibly impressive. March 5th is the next Illinois Association of School Board Association event. I know Jason has indicated he plans to attend. Did get Mr. Farrell registered. If you are interested in attending that, that's the next Blackhawk Division dinner. That's where boards in our Blackhawk region come together and members can network and participate in professional learning. If anybody else is interested, please let me know. Happy to get you registered for that. And it is in Stark County. Where is it? Yeah, Toulon.
I believe our board president already said he would.
Yes.
Oh.
I'm gonna go.
All right.
I will be driving if anybody wants to.
Okay, we will get you registered. If anybody else? Okay. Wonderful.
You got it.
I will get that taken care of, so thank you for that. Superintendent evaluation, I was able to complete that process through the super eval. I appreciate the board's willingness to navigate the superintendent evaluation. It's incredibly important, not only for you all, but for me as well, to have that opportunity for self-evaluation. So Mr. Dite can guide you in that process of getting in and reviewing that. Any other updates?
No, just that we're in step 3, so now is the time where you become more active and review the self-evaluation and then provide your own comments. There are a few tweaks we need to make to the titles. There's a server error, so we'll get those made just as soon as we possibly can. But then also, I will say too, the survey for our administrators to get you some additional input and feedback. Will go out tomorrow with the due date for completion on the 27th, so you'll have some information from our building principals, assistant principals, extended cabinet, and cabinet members.
If you haven't gotten your email from us, you know, what time.
All right, very good, thank you. And then lastly, on this part, I know you all get the American School Board Journal. There was a great article, I was gonna bring it and I didn't have it, regarding student board members. And so I just want to give a shout out to Justin. And Abigail, of course, we couldn't be here tonight, but as I'm reading that article, and I think Jason had an article, or you were talking about that previously, that few districts across the nation have student representation on their board. It's still considered niche, which I think is pretty interesting. A couple of states require it through like school code, but most of the Midwest and some of those surrounding states are really local board decision to allow students, and then a couple of states didn't report at all. So I'm grateful for the board to find this additional way to capture student voice, and I know we want to continue that tradition, so just wanted to recognize the board and their decision in that regard. And then lastly, we have a special recognition for tonight. I think we have an amazing administrative team in this district. I would put them up against anybody in our nation, and especially in good times, but especially in crisis. And tonight, I would like to ask Miss Lindsay Oswald to please stand up. Principal of Hamilton Elementary and has been selected by Illinois Principal Association as our Regional Principal of the Year. We're so proud of you, and I want to turn it over to Dr. Prittle.
I just want to say this award is, we have so many great administrators in our district, and we focus on our 5 essentials, and at the top is effective leaders set our pace, right, for our pace goals. And Lindsay is so deserving of this award. She's a servant leader that meets her staff, the students, the parents where they are. She's so involved in everything that happens at Hamilton, which is our largest elementary, which has the most challenges, which every day she steps up to the plate. She meets the needs, does a great job. She's well respected with colleagues, so well deserving of this award. We're so lucky to have her in this district. And I just want to say thank you and congratulations on receiving the the Blackhawk Region Elementary School Principal of the Year Award for IPA. And she will be representing us. This will take her to the next level to be put in for the elementary IPA state winner. So best of luck to you and congratulations. I'm gonna brag a little bit. We just got done with gap testing, and I was looking at our data, and I was actually on the phone today coming to school and looking at home, and our map data is how we look at how we're doing, and we do our winter benchmark. We just put a new math curriculum in place. We expect students to score 50%, and when you do a curricular change, you tend to see it. Yeah. Hamilton's building average in our winter, building average was 75% of students. And again, that's a testament to the leadership. We are going to be doing the Mapping Success Awards, so if any of you board members want to come around and help deliver these shows. Thank you.
Lastly, for our student board member report, I'd like to turn it over to Justin.
All right, so first I want to start off by saying I know you guys said you're grateful to have me, and I'm very grateful for this opportunity as well. So I thank you guys for giving me this chance to be on this board. It has been very meaningful for me to sit here, to know that I can kind of create positive impact and change. So I'm very grateful for that. And going off of Dr. Stafford's facilities presentation, I wanted to give you guys a presentation of my own kind of facility. Every Genesis Club outdoor classroom. So This has been something as president of the history club that I've been very focused on, to kind of improve and kind of leave a legacy and make an impact at Moore High School. So I've kind of split this up into 3 different portions, so I'm going to start off by saying where we started. So coming into the school year, the area was actually very unusable. Many students did not use it at all, actually. You could see the pond, it was very nasty, especially after COVID and that stuff. It didn't get as much attention as it needed. And then the floor as well was kind of worn down, and it was just unusable for students to go out there, and they just didn't get as much attention. So where we are now, the history club kind of took over the renovations for this project. So we started off by resealing it, and then we fixed up the pond. So it's got all the leaves. We put in a heater, we put in a bubbler. Unfortunately, the heater didn't make it through the winter. Shocking. It is good now, and it is all working well. So that was a big thing. And then the picture on the right, you can't see it very well, but we mulched a lot of the exterior surrounding areas, and then we also put in posts for part of our outdoor classroom idea. And that is this. This is our the first stage of our outdoor classroom, where we put up posts and then we put in signs to each of those posts, detailing a part of the Quad Cities district. And it's our first exhibit, and there will be more exhibits to come. But I just want to say this was a lot of fun. I know I saw some of you guys there as well, so I hope you had fun. It was really exciting, and we've had teachers go out there and use it for a classroom project, and we received a lot of positive opinions. So we spent a lot of time with this. We actually spent around $10,000 of the club's money that we've made over the past couple of years towards just this part of the project. So it was really, really cool. And since then, we wanted to take it further. So that's the third part, is our vision, where we want to take this. So firstly, if you guys were there, for those of you that were, there's a sculpture on the patio, and it's very, 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 very worn down. I mean, it was gone through a lot. So we were looking as the history club to kind of, redo this, and we looked at John Deere, we looked at Blackhawk as some ideas for another sculpture. But I wanted to share a cool story of what we're kind of looking at, which is Charles Carpenter. So Charles Carpenter, he was an old high school teacher at Moline, and that's the article on the left. You'll see it mentioned that he was a Moline high school teacher, and he was actually the first person to mount bazookas onto his plane, Rosie the Rocketeer. So I think it's a pretty cool, unique story. It's something that is not as recognized in Moline history, but it is definitely a unique feature of our history. So I think, and we as History Club thought that would be a cool, unique part if you were to incorporate this sculpture. And we have talked with David Zahn, who is the previous sculptor of the statue that we had, which again, floor down. So we're talking to him, and I want to say a huge shout out to Dr. Cribble for helping us with that and kind of foster those conversations. And then another big thing is the actual classroom part of it. So these are very different, unique designs, obviously, but we've had a lot of different people come in and talk to us about different design ideas for the actual classroom section, and we've talked to teachers about it as well. And the teachers are very excited about what this could be, because there's been many, many studies about the benefits that an outdoor classroom can have for students mentally and academically. So this has been something that, we put a lot of time into it. We're very excited to see where we can take this. And I guess that kind of comes into my presentation, and my purpose for being here is we want to open this up to the community. A lot of you have connections to the community about people who might be interested in this, and we are very interested in working with others and in the community to kind of expand this project. As you said earlier, we have spent a lot of our money on the first step, so this is kind of a project that, if not now, but in the future, we hope to expand on and kind of just make something really lasting on Moline High School. I and the History Club think that this can be very beneficial for the students of now and of future generations. And so with that being said, I want to leave you with a quote that is from a Chinese proverb, and it's "Learning is a treasure that will follow us on everywhere." the impact that we are able to make at Moreland High School through students, through staff, through teachers, it's unbelievable how much a teacher and how much academic environment can shape a student for the rest of their life. And at History Club, we believe that this outdoor classroom project can really make a lasting impact on the future students and future people of our society.
Have you and Mr. Phil looked at writing any grants or reaching out to any community partners like the foundation for our grant?
So we're currently looking at reaching out with some of the community foundations, and then also that's why we're here, because we want to see if any of you would be interested or know any grants or foundations that we can reach out to. We are looking into that, and there's been a lot of research on it, so that's definitely something that we're looking at right now.
Not so much a question, but I mean, our principal of the year actually has an outdoor classroom at Hamilton, so I would encourage you to get with her and get some insight, because I guarantee she can walk you through that process.
Logan as well.
Yeah, see that.
All right. Thank you. Okay.
I just want to say to our MHS students, I think I can speak for the whole board that we want to hear you. If you are passionate about projects or you and your fellow classmates have a concern, we are a board that wants to know and we want to hear you. So I encourage you to keep reaching out to show us these things, because we may not always know, and we really do care and want to know. I encourage you to tell your friends, be passionate about project, let us know, we want to hear it.
Our, come to the meeting,
Come to the
our
meetings.
emails and
Yeah.
phone numbers are on the website, so feel free to reach out. In that same vein, Akil and Andrew, thank you guys so much. I was so impressed with your presentation. And Akil, did you learn something here recently?
Yeah.
The app from.
An app challenge.
Yeah, through Congressman Source and so on.
Congressman, I met with him a few years back at the Peoria Riverfront Museum, and I kind of showed him my app. It's Food Flow. I don't know if everyone here is aware, but it's an app that aims to reduce food wastage. So food businesses with excess food and food banks and homeless shelters who don't have excess food to make healthy meals. It's an app that links those two together so that we can ensure access to healthy meals within our community. And the food that's going to waste will no longer be going to waste, it's now going to waste.
That's really
That's an app that I'm working with.
When are you going to Washington DC?
I'm going to Washington DC on April 10th and 11th, so I'm going to be meeting with just about like a few hundred winners per year. It's about 300 out of 11,000 are selected as winners every year, and I'm going to be meeting with them at the Capitol building and kind of discussing various coding ideas and exchanging different ways into how we can create apps that better our society.
That's amazing. So, the reason I do this is because a friend of mine serves on Congressman Sorensen's staff, and he was so impressed with you and your app that he reached out and he's like, hey, check this out. You definitely made an impact in your community, so we really want that. You guys are blown me away. You're so impressive. Awesome kids. Also, Jason, congratulations. Jason was named the vice president of the Black Hawk Division of the Illinois Association of School Boards. I don't know. We'll find out. Yeah, so congratulations. With that, we need a motion to go into closed session.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We're gonna go closed session. All right, can I have a motion to return to open session? All in favor? Opposed? All right, we're back in open session. Now, the recommended motion is that the Board of Education approve the appointment of Aaron Kirkstrip to the position of Assistant Superintendent for Student Services and Special Education effective in 2024-2025 school.
Motion?
Second.
Roll call.
Aaron Walter-Smith,
Absolutely, yes.
Audrey Adamson, Chet DeSmith, Ramona Dixon,
Yes.
Jason Farrell, Lindsay Hines,
Aye.
Andrew Wade.
Aye. Welcome. All right, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
All right.